We are going to look at the Italian P.43 Tier 7. Subscribe if you're here for the first time. Also, give this video a like. I really appreciate it very much and it helps out my channel a lot. Now we're going to take a look at the P.43. This is a tank that I skipped over when I was researching the Italian tanks. I went straight to the P.44 Pantera, but we are in Cliff top tier and you got to be aggressive, getting down to the middle early in the game. And this is advantageous because you are a top tier, and of course we are going to apply our vision, our stealth, our mobility to this game. Totally dominate this game. Obviously we can't be complacent. There is artillery, so we're gonna be we need to be mindful of that. We're gonna be able to spread out our HP properly. Make sure that we don't give up too much HP when we are being aggressive and trying to win out this game. Now this is a fantastic position if you are in a top tier dominant tank. This is the place to be, where you want to find out your enemies. Now this guy has slipped up underneath me, but with the enormity of this gun, you are able to take him out easily. Obviously 240 damage on this gun, 165 penetration on the standard shells, which is not a big deal for a tier 7 tank. But with the APCR premium shells, you get 195 penetration, which is not that great compared to a T20, which has 230 penetration or something like that on the premium shells. Now we had the T20 yesterday, so I'm going to compare this to the T20 and the Leo, which is very similar in terms of performance, but a little bit different in terms of alpha. Of course, the Leo has 300 alpha. Only the T20 is similar alpha with this 240 average damage, around the same pen, 165. But the reload times on the P.43 is 782 seconds. Sorry, 7.67 seconds, which is 2 seconds quicker than the T20. 3 seconds, 3.5, 4 seconds quicker than the Leo, the Swedish Leo. So that's one thing good about this gun. It fires fairly quickly, but however, the performance of the gun is slightly worse than the T20. Now the T20, like I said, was a combat in your face kind of tank, very aggressive kind of tank, but the P.43 however is kind of different because the aim time is slightly fraction slower, 2.30 instead of the 2.21 on the T20. Dispersion is 0.38 while the T20 has 0.36 dispersion. So the increased amount of aim time that you need for this gun makes it kind of like, it's not exactly as aggressive as a T20, but it is not, by no means is it a long distance sniper as well. You still want to be fairly aggressive if you are top tier. Of course, if you are not top tier, you want to play a supportive role. You need to know your place in the hierarchy of tanks when you are playing in this game, obviously. But if you are top tier, you do need to put yourself out there and be aggressive, trade a little bit of your HP for a little bit of damage. Now obviously I've taken a little bit of damage here. I've lost half my HP. I can't be as aggressive as I'd like to be, but that doesn't mean I'm not trying to look for angles and look for shots into the enemy. Now a reoccurring theme on the P.43 is survivability. This is one of those kind of tanks that you want to play where you keep that in the back of your mind. Surviving is a big thing in this tank. Surviving for the end game. Now I've done enough damage here and it seems like we're probably going to win this game, and I could be ultra aggressive now and try to do as much damage as I can. But this tank even takes damage from a T-34-85, so you can't bounce anything from any kind of tank. So trying to survive is a big deal in this tank. You do need to be mindful of that when you are playing the P.43 TER. Now the hull armor is 100 millimeters frontally, but the sides are the sides are 50, just like a T20. So frontally you are slightly better off than a T20, but it's still 100mm is still nothing. You still can't bounce anything. Occasionally you'll get if you're angled and they shoot the top part of your hull, you could bounce that, but don't count on it, don't depend on it. It is not something that is constant. You can't depend on the armor of this tank at all. The turret armor as well is slightly better than the T20. Now remember, the T20 had little to no armor at 88.9mm. This thing has 100mm, just like the hull armor frontally, but once again, it is not something you can count on. It is not something that's constant. It is not something you can depend on. Artillery is the bane of this tank. Now you saw me take a lot of damage from artillery earlier on, and that's one thing you've got to avoid while you're playing. Now this game is probably closed out. We're gonna win this easily. The game is actually over. I could probably YOLO in and die if I wanted to and still do well. But like I said, a recurring theme in this tank is trying to survive, survivability. You want to be surviving as long as you can because you are such a fragile tank. You've got to be able to train yourself to conserve your HP, how you want to avoid being hit from artillery, how you want to be remain undetected. Remember, stealth, vision, mobility. This tank has a bit of everything, but you need that stealth to avoid damage. You're not trying to use that stealth to ambush your enemy or try to surprise someone, but instead you need to use your stealth to avoid getting damage. You want to survive as long as possible because the P.43 TER is not big on surviving because it has no armor at all. So focusing on surviving is a big thing on this tank. So one of the things that you will gain when you are grinding through the tier 7 P.43 TER is you will train yourself and you will learn how to use your stealth, vision and mobility to survive longer in this tank. And if you can survive in this tank throughout the entirety of this game, especially if you are not top tier, I would say you would have accomplished something quite great there, because like I said, there is no armor to speak of, so surviving is a big deal in this tank. Now this gun it works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes. You saw me make that shot and it dropped, but I'm still going to make penetrating shots here because he's giving me his sides, and of course I'm also firing premium shells. Now he's going to face me and I'm not going to have a shot, but we're going to have a look at his cupola and see if we can make it. And we did make it. That's a surprise. You saw how the shell dipped when we took shots on the sides of it, so you know that this gun, even though you're fully aimed, you are not going to hit those long distance shots 100% of the time. I'd say you make it about 70-80% of the time. But like I said, this game is already over. I just needed to survive as long as I can and get as much damage output as I can, and we did exactly that, and we got rewarded because of it, and we get the kill shot on the artillery who damaged me earlier on. Raise your gun up in respect, and just like that we got an ace tanker. GG. If you are grinding the Italian tank line, don't forget to get the P.43 TER. Great tank to play with, easy to grind, easy to play. You will learn a little bit about survivability when you are grinding out this tank. Now please give this video a like if you enjoyed the content. It helps out my channel a lot, and let me thank you in advance, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.